to my channel, here to let you know that summer is almost over, and I know, don't hate the messenger even if you don't like the message. But summer is almost over. There are 10 days left in the Run Write Reads Summer Reading Challenge, and I just wanted to check in on you, see how you're doing with the challenge, and to let you know how I've been doing. Maybe you need a little bit of an idea, a recommendation for a book that you still need to read to complete one of the prompts for the challenge. So here's my tracker. My tracker is in black and white. The tracker is available in color. Information in the description box down below if you still want to download the tracker. I know it's still possible. It is still possible to start the challenge and finish the challenge on time, because there are 14 prompts and you can use a book to meet multiple prompts if you find one. So yeah, we could still definitely have some more finishers is what I'm saying. Spoiler alert, I'm not finished with the challenge. I still have at least one prompt that I am working on. So if this is your first time hearing about the Run Write Reads Summer Reading Challenge, it is a challenge that I started this year. 14 prompts. Each one of the prompts starts with a letter that spells out Run Write Reads. I know, shameless self-promotion. So the challenge started on June 21st and it's all through summer, so it ends on September 23rd, and the goal was to find books that were 150 pages or more that meet the prompts. So there are a couple of prompts where you could read books of any page length. So here's how I'm doing with the challenge so far. So the first prompt, our prompt, was to reread any book, and I read Demon Copperhead by Barbara Kingsolver. I read it twice this year. I read it first because I was judging the BookTube prize, and then I loved it, but I wanted to read it again, and I buddy read it next time and I loved it even more. So reading Demon Copperhead by Barbara Kingsolver helped me to meet that prompt. The next prompt is U for Underrated. I read several books by authors that I feel like they should be more well known, both books and the authors. But for this one, I'm choosing Green Days by the River by Michael Anthony because he's a Trinidadian author, and that was a book that we read for the Run Write Reads book club in August, and while we were reading the book in August, the author passed away. So very sad, because he was 93 years old, so he had a well-lived life, I think, and he wrote a lot. I just, you know, it's one of those living legends that you never want to hear that they actually are gone. So reading Green Days by the River is how I'm saying that I met that prompt. The N challenge, N for new, read a book published in 2022 or 2023. In 2022, the publisher sent me this book and I wanted to read it then. Because I've read other things by this author, I didn't get to it then. Finally, buddy read it with Patrice Jones this year, and we absolutely love this book. So The Puzzler by A.J. Jacobs is how I met that prompt. This is a really fantastic exploration of puzzles, as well as a little bit of the author's personal interaction with these puzzles. I love how the book is set up, where each chapter focuses on a different kind of puzzles. So we get jigsaw puzzles and Rubik's Cubes and crossword puzzles and Sudoku and logic puzzles and puzzle boxes and all of that. Really interesting read. So that's how I met that prompt. The W prompt was W for weird, read a book with a weird title, and for that I chose My Fourth Time We Drowned by Sally Hayden, because this is a self-conflicting statement. We drowned in the past tense, like we died. This was a candidate for the BookTube prize. I read this because I was judging the BookTube prize. I still have it out from the library because it is a finalist, and I'm working on judging the finals right now. So more on that later. The next R prompt is to read a book with 2 or 3 of the United States flag colors on the cover, and I originally had another book here. I had The Black Echo by Michael Connolly, but I did read a book that actually had the United States flag pictured right here on, let's see if you could see it. Yeah, there it is, the United States flag on his suitcase. So I'm using instead The Man I Never Met by Elle Cook as my response for that prompt. The next prompt is the one that I'm still working on. I for ice cream, read a book that has ice cream on the cover or mentions ice cream. I'm still hoping to find a book that has ice cream on the cover. It was the summer reading challenge, and one of the things that says summer to me is eating ice cream cones outside. So I'm still hoping to find a book that has ice cream on the cover to meet that prompt. So that one is still open for me. The G prompt was G for graphic. Read a graphic memoir or graphic novel or manga or comic of any page length. And I read 2 books that would count. I read Heartstopper by Alice Oseman. That's volume 1 of the Heartstopper series. And I also read Shirley Jackson's short story, The Lottery, adapted to graphic format by her grandson, Miles Hyman. And so, yeah, I met that challenge. I met that prompt twice. It's H for home. Read a book with home in the title or set in your hometown or state or country. And I think when I originally wrote out this prompt, I thought that I would look for a book that was set in my home country of Jamaica, where I was born, where I was raised. But I didn't read a book in the summer that was set in Jamaica. I've read books that mention Jamaica. I read books that focus on the experience of immigrants from Jamaica living elsewhere, but I didn't read a book that was set in Jamaica. So I'm using a book that was set in my home, my current home state of New York, which is Paradise Falls by Keith O'Brien. This one focused on the environmental crisis that happened at Niagara Falls in the 1970s. So the New York side of Niagara Falls. So Paradise Falls helps me to meet that prompt. Next prompt, the T prompt, was true. Read a true story. And I read a lot of nonfiction this summer because of judging the BookTube Prize nonfiction category. But for this one, I'm choosing The Facemaker by Lindsay Fitzharris. It was about the development of plastic surgery as doctors were treating soldiers who had been hurt in World War I. And this was a really impactful book, so I wanted to mention it here, even though I had other books that could technically meet this prompt. I'm using The Facemaker by Lindsay Fitzharris for that prompt. So the next R prompt is romance. Read a romance or anti-romance book. And when I wrote this, I wasn't really sure what an anti-romance would look like for me. I don't read a lot of romance books, but I read several romance books in the summer and I really enjoyed all of them. So I may be looking at a new go-to genre for me. I'm using One Day in December to meet this prompt because this is both romance and anti-romance depending on how you look at it. And I'm just gonna say that. So really enjoyed this book, so would definitely recommend it if you're still looking for a romance or anti-romance to pick up for the challenge. That's a recommendation. The E prompt, E for easy. Read a book you consider easy of any page count. And I read Charlotte's Web by E.B. White during the summer, so I'm using that, even though I read a lot of children's books. Like I read 2 books from the Madeline series by Ludwig Bemelmans and picked up later by his grandson. Those were easy. So met that prompt is what I'm saying. The A prompt is anthology. Read a collection of poems, essays, or stories. And I read Black Ink, edited by Stephanie Stokes Oliver. And this one was about African American authors charting the evolution of African American history, but also impacting it, like how writing doesn't just record, but how it changes African American history. So this was a really great read as well. And the penultimate prompt, D for day. Read a book with day in the title. I read a few books that had day in the title, including One Day in the Life of Ivan Denisovich, including One Day in December, but also including Miss Pettigrew Lives for a Day by Winifred Watson, which I really enjoyed that book as well. And the final prompt was S for set. Read a book that is set in the Caribbean. And we read this for the Run Right Reads book club in July. I still haven't made a video for the channel, so I'm going to have to get on that soon. So The Farming of the Bones by Edwidge Danticat is how I met that prompt. So those are the books that I have read thus far for the Run Right Reads Summer Reading Challenge. Let me know if you've been participating, how it's going. You have 10 days to finish. So thank you so much for watching this video. Would love to hear from you in the comments. Let me know if you have a recommendation for me of a book that has ice cream on the cover that you've enjoyed, so I can go get it and read it before September 23rd. So thank you so much for watching this video. Would love to chat with you in the comments down below. And until we come back for another video, happy reading. Bye!